Hey guys, you're listening to First Light Fridays, your monthly showcase of Indigenous culture, music, and conversation. I'm Kathy Walsh, member of Inuktitut, and for today, radio host extraordinaire.
And I'm Salome Barker, a Mi'kmaq woman from central Newfoundland, and for today, giving my best shot at being a radio host extraordinaire.
I always say, fake it till you make it, Sal. Alone, we are definitely not radio hosts, but together we are
Kat and Sal, and we're taking over this edition of First Light Fridays. In case you're just hearing about this show for the first time, we'll give you a little bit of background. First Light Fridays is a monthly show that you'll hear right here on CBC Radio. It's a collaboration between CBC NL and First Light St. John's Friendship Center, which is a non-profit that serves the urban, Indigenous, and non-Indigenous community.
Our programs and services are rooted in the revitalization, strengthening, and celebration of Indigenous cultures and languages in the spirit of trust, respect, and friendship.
Before we get into today's show, I have to tell you listeners about how prepared Kat is to be a radio host today. Back in high school, Kathy was voted most likely to become a talk show radio host. Now tell me that isn't radio ready.
You know me, Sal, always ready to be in the spotlight. But what about you? You're here in your Christmas pajamas with your hair up and a mug of hot chocolate. You know you aren't ready to host a radio show.
Listen, if there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that I love Christmas time. Kat, please tell me that we're adding some Christmas content to today's show.
Oh yes, you bet. We have lots of amazing content coming at you today. We head to the big land for a special show called Christmas in Labrador. World-class Inuk opera singer Diantha Edmonds takes us through some of the songs of the season in Inuktitut and talks about why it's so near and dear to her own heart.
Excellent! While we're at it then, we'll give all you, our lovely listeners, a bit of insight into our own Christmas traditions. I'll be giving a call to a very special person in my life talking about Christmas in Grand Falls, Windsor.
And to rep Labrador, I'll be calling my lovely little brother William to talk about his favorite Christmas memories and why I'm so important in them. But first...
Hi, my name is Malware and I grew up in Nain, Labrador, and now I'm living in St. John's.
Keeping with the theme of holiday traditions, did you go mummering as a kid? Did the Nalyuk chase you? 15-year-old Mahala Brake was lucky enough to experience both traditions.
My mom is from Labrador and my dad is from Newfoundland.
Going for Nalyuk hunting now. Oh, you ready to go? Let's go find the Nalyuk!
On January 6th each year in Nain, the whole town is very excited for the arrival of the Nalyuk. Nalyuk means heathen or non-believer. People gather outside in the middle of town to wait for the Nalyuk. They wear scary masks, dressed in torn and tattered clothing, animal skins, and furs. They come in from the sea ice to frighten the children and adults and also celebrate the new year. The first part of the night, around 4 or 5, Nalyuk sit in front of everyone in chairs while the crowd sings to them and the brass band plays behind them. They bring candy for the children, which is handed out and thrown into the crowd. After the singing, the brass band continues to play while everyone lines up, young and old, to shake the hands of the Nalyuk. At the community gathering, the chase begins. People spread out and the excitement starts.
Oh, just got hit by a Nalyuk. Oh, sneaky bugger.
You will see many different Nalyuk coming from all directions, carrying big sticks and different objects to hit you with. Children and adults run around screaming with fear and laughter, trying to escape the scary creatures. A Nalyuk can run very fast. People can rarely escape them if they're chased. If you're good all year or you sing them a song in Inuktitut, they will shake your hand and walk away. Parents talk about Nalyuk all year long. They use the frightening nature of the Nalyuk to scare their children into behaving themselves all year long. They warn them that if they do not listen, the Nalyuk will get them on January 6th. The children get scared and think twice about how they are acting. They visit inside people's houses as well, and if kids sing a song, the Nalyuk will give them treats. This teaches children the importance of learning their language. It is a truly unique tradition that's mostly unheard by anyone living outside of Nain and the Labrador coast. It is still going strong and being celebrated each year.
New Year! Hey, Happy New Year!
Mummering or jennying is a traditional custom which is still being practiced in many areas of Newfoundland today. A mummer is a masked performer who wears a disguise while acting foolish and funny. Traditional mummering in Newfoundland involves people dressed in outrageous clothes parading from house to house during the Christmas season. The idea was to hide your identity. Men would dress up as women and women as men. Faces were covered, clothes stuffed, and mittens were sometimes worn on feet. Voices would be disguised and the residents would be greeted at the door with any mummers let in. They would bring accordions and ugly sticks, and there would be a kitchen party, jokes, and music complete with drinking and dancing. This lasted until the host guessed the mummers' identities or the food and drinks ran out.
No, I don't know. Tony, I never know. He's in here.
The St. John's Mummers Festival is helping to keep the tradition alive and celebrated each year. The festival started in 2009 and has taken place every year since, during December. They have workshops where you can make your own ugly stick or hobby horse, then attend the parade with a bunch of other mummers. You can have a wonderful time singing, dancing, and making new friends.
Let's go find Anaya.
Who's this, the mummers?
When we talk about our tradition in Labrador called Nelliyuk Night, people in Newfoundland often say, oh, it's a bit similar to mummers in Newfoundland. Both are celebrated during the holiday seasons and have interesting characters who visit people in their houses. The Nelliyuk seem to be a bit scarier, with the chance of being chased and hit, and the identity of them are never known. Both are keeping their traditional music alive by having it performed in their own ways. I'm proud to have both as part of my culture and heritage.
That's 15-year-old Mahala Brake. She's from Nain, but now lives in St. John's. A special thank you to the Indigenous Education National Center for Collaboration. Mahala's story was a part of a series called Stories from Our Youth. You can find that on First Light's YouTube channel. You're listening to First Light Fridays, your monthly showcase of what it means to be Indigenous in Newfoundland and Labrador and beyond. I'm Salome Barker.
And I'm Kathy Walsh.
We have a bit of a holiday-themed show for you today, and I guess that's a good place to mention that today is CBC's Feed NL Day. Things look a bit different this year, but you can still donate to your local food bank. It's just a click away at cbc.ca/bekind.
Still to come on First Light Fridays. We'll check out some Inuktitut songs of the season with Inuk opera singer Diantha Edmonds.
But right now, I have a quick call to make.
Hey, Dad.
Hello, Salome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Oh, that's great. So here we have our First Light Fridays on CBC Radio 1, and I thought I'd call home with our Christmas edition and just ask you a few questions about growing up in Grand Falls during Christmas.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so first off, what was Christmas like growing up in Grand Falls of your boyhood?
Well, up until I was 15 years old, in 1960, Grand Falls was still a company town, so the A&D Company's Christmas influence was everywhere. They put a Christmas tree on the mill. They put Christmas lights on the pine trees around Lady Northcliffe Hospital. They sponsored an afternoon at the theater for all school children in both school systems, where we would go watch all comedies like Tom and Jerry and Daffy Duck and Heckle and Jekyll and shorts like the Three Stooges. And then when the show was over, we were given a bag of treats. The company gave a turkey to its employees. The mill was shut down Christmas Day. And mill unions sponsored a big party at the armories for school children.
So with that in mind, what's one thing that you've noticed that has really changed about Christmas over the years?
Well, in my mind, Christmas, you did all this extra eating and extra drinking. That was the party life of Christmas, celebrating. But now we're doing that all year round. And so we've gone overboard, in my mind, with everything. And I think one of the things that COVID is sort of saying to us as a human race now, particularly us in the West that's consuming so much, it's like a tap on the shoulder and turn around and say, you need to cool it, shut down this consumption, take better care of yourselves, and take better care of the earth that we live on.
Insightful way of thinking about how Christmas has changed. Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
Last question. Is there anything you remember about family traditions as a child with your grandparents?
Well, up until I was 8 years old, we lived downstairs at grandmother's and grandfather's house, Mary and Louis John on Gilbert Street. Mm-hmm. And I just remember grandmother used to make a Christmas cake, something I don't eat and never eat. It looked like this. It was a huge pot, iron pot you should put in the oven. I couldn't believe the size of it. That was one thing. And my brother Lou tells the story of Pop putting a junk of wood in the kitchen stove and lying down on the daybed and then saying, "Mary, remember this?" And he starts singing a song, and the song would be, as Pop would say then, in Indian or Micmac.
Wow. Would have been amazing if someone had had a tape recorder lying around and pressed play back then.
Yes, yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Dad, and thanks for taking the time out of your day today to have a chat with me, and I'll see you next week.
I'll see you at Christmas, Salome.
Aw, Sal, that was probably the most adorable conversation I have ever heard. I'm actually really happy that he was able to come on and talk about Christmas in Grand Falls.
Listen, I tell you, you're never going to have a hard time getting a story out of Andy Barker. So what about you, Kathy? What sort of Christmas traditions are you going to share with us today?
So today, I'm going to be talking to my little brother, and I'm going to be asking him some traditions that he remembers, and then we're going to play a little game that he has no idea is coming.
Hey, William, how you doing?
Not bad, you?
Not too bad. Thank you for letting me rope you into a CBC chat.
Oh, no problem.
Everyone that's listening, he says no problem, but he's lying. All right, so the first thing I want to know is what's one of your favorite Christmas memories?
Favorite Christmas memories? Probably when we lived in Cartwright and I got to put up Christmas lights with Dad. That was always fun. Or when we used to always stay in the same bedroom for Christmas Eve, me and you and Leanne. That was fun.
So what I'm hearing is that Christmas with Kathy was the best?
Yeah, whatever way you want to spin it in your head is fine.
Do you remember when you guys did a Christmas concert, you and your friends, and I was like cheering you on from the sidelines? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, we played in the auditorium, played the Deck the Halls or something. That was pretty cool.
I tried to get you guys to do the metal version of Carol of the Bells, but it did not work very well.
No, I wasn't good enough at that time.
Well, you know what? I think you guys need to make a comeback and redo it again. I'm just saying. I will travel into Labrador to see that.
Sounds good.
All right. So my second question is, are you spending Christmas in St. John's or Labrador this year?
I'm going to be spending it in St. John's.
Okay. So have you brought any traditions from your Christmases in Labrador into your Christmases in St. John's, or do you plan to?
Some traditions I try to keep are doing some of Mom's baking since she's not around here for me, like snowballs and the partially berry muffins and stuff like that. And there will be Christmas Eve. We always watch all the old school Christmas movies, like the old claymation ones. So I like to keep doing that.
So you're making extra food this year to give to me because we're in the same city, right?
I don't know. It depends on what kind of gifts you're going to get me, see?
Ooh. Everyone, so every single year, my brother, who is about 4 or 5 years younger than me, always gets me something for my house. For the past, I'm going to say 3 years, has been batteries, right, William?
Yeah, it's just a conventional gift.
Very conventional. So what do you want for me this year, William?
Pair of snowshoes, I think. Nice. You make me a nice pair of handmade snowshoes.
Handmade snowshoes. All right, not a problem. I can just whip those up right quick.
Yep, I figured you could.
All right, so I'm going to ask you some rapid-fire questions now that are Christmas-themed. Are you ready?
Yep.
Do you prefer a real tree or a fake tree?
Real tree.
What about sleigh ride or skidoo ride?
Skidoo ride.
Ice fishing or pond hockey?
Ice fishing.
Trapping or hunting?
Hunting.
Turkey or ham?
So, ham.
What's your favorite Christmas dessert?
Snowballs.
Who's your favorite sibling?
Oh my God. Pass.
That does not work, William. Passing is not okay. You have lost the game. You know what you would have got for winning?
What?
Handmade snowshoes.
Oh, okay. Well, you're getting batteries again this year.
All right. Love you, William.
Love you too, Kathy.
Miss you, William.
Miss you too, Kathy.
I'm Kathy Walsh.
And I'm Salome Barker.
And you're listening to First Light Fridays, a brand new show right here on CBC-NL, sharing Indigenous content from this province and beyond.
Kat, I know you really wanted to go to Labrador this year for Christmas.
I know, and I'm sure many of our listeners did as well, but thankfully, Inuk opera singer Diantha Edmonds is bringing a little bit of Labrador to us this year.
Atili Hai, welcome to Christmas in Labrador. Hello, I'm Diantha Edmonds. I am a happy resident of St. John's, and I am so proud to be known as Canada's first and so far only Inuk professional classical singer. For our program, Christmas in Labrador, everything was sung in Inuktitut, which made it pretty special. I also sang some classical sacred arias in Inuktitut that would have been shared in the Moravian churches and communities on the north coast of Labrador during Advent and Christmas. Although I didn't grow up in Labrador and I have not lived there for any length of time, I do consider Labrador my musical home in a sense. That's where my father was from, and there is just this incredible history of classical music being made and written by Inuit musicians for the past, over 200 years in Labrador. It's so special, and I always try to take as many opportunities as I can to share that history and the beautiful music and the language as far and wide as I can. So for this program, Christmas in Labrador, I had with me two young Inuk singers, one Mason Dicker, who is a 16-year-old tenor. The other child was my daughter, Annabelle, who just turned 10 years old and who is a real songbird. It was wonderful to hear the youth singing together and to sing with them. The story behind some of this music is truly fascinating. These Inuktitut Arias were written by classical composers and brought from Germany to northern Labrador by missionaries of the Moravian faith in the 18th century. And once this music was transported to the Labrador coast, it was actually reimagined by Inuit musicians. They performed and transformed it into something new and what they believed to be beautiful. And they really brought it to life. This music was part of religious celebrations as well as community events throughout the year. As a classical singer, I have sung in many different languages, mostly German, Italian, French, Spanish, Latin, and some English too. But singing in Inuktitut, it takes me to a different place emotionally. I feel very grateful to be able to sing the kind of music that I love, classical music, that I have such a passion for, in a language that is so special to me, the language of Labrador Inuit. It is really an honor to be able to do this, and it just makes me feel like I'm coming home in a way that singing other languages and other styles of music, they don't bring me to that same place. So it's something I'm truly grateful for.
That's Diantha Edmonds. Christmas in Labrador features Diantha with tenor Mason Dicker and soprano Annabelle Ramsey, accompanied by Tom Gordon. If you want to check out that concert, just head over to YouTube and search the name Christmas in Labrador.
Well, Kathy, for our first radio show hosting gig, I would say we did pretty good. Do you think you lived up to your high school most likely to become a talk show host?
I mean, not to brag, but they did vote on that for a specific reason.
And to all of you, thank you so much for tuning in to First Light Fridays. If you missed the first episode, hosted by the one and only Janelle Duvall, you can head on over to cbc.ca/NL and click the community tab on the top of the page. You'll find all the shows there.
First Light Fridays will be back with you next month. That's the second Friday of January.
I'm Salome Barker.
And I'm Kathy Walsh. See you later.